Hello everyone. I just wanted to show you some of the ways to organize your images in Lightroom. During the course we had some issues with making sure you had your right three images there to start your HDR. So what I've got here is my sort of default Lightroom setup, and I'll just go through some of the settings here. So we're in the library module here. So in the library module you've got this display here, which is your main window of all your images once you've imported them. Down the bottom here there's a little drop that pops up and shows your thumbnails. So this is your thumbnail view along here. So if you have this image selected, it's white down here, white up here. The other thing I like to have down the bottom here, if you go up to here, Windows, there's under the toolbar, sorry, there's two things: the show toolbar, which is this thing down the bottom, which that allows you to change the size of your thumbnails so that you can have a good look at them and make sure that they're the ones that are in register. And also the other one was view filter bar up the top there, which comes in useful sometimes. So that's sort of my default window setup along there. So I'll just sort of show you that. Okay, so going on from that default view, you'll notice the two side panels here. With Lightroom, a bit different to Photoshop, it's got these little arrows around everywhere to collapse panels, down the bottom as well, and to the side here. So you do use that if you want more space to look at all your images, or certain scenarios to show other people you might want to get rid of those side panels. Another way to do it is hit your tab key, which is also useful in Photoshop. Tab will remove them. Now along the left hand side is more the side for more of your navigation of where you are on the computer and sort of related things to do with publishing and collection. So each one of these arrows, again, the arrows expand, so they expand like that, just out like that, so you can expand them all. Now sometimes you'll notice what I've got, if I expand that one, the other one closes. Now your behavior mightn't be like that. If you open your collections and folders, you might have them both open. Notice I've got collections is closed now. I can't open both at the same time, which I find is good. Now to get to that section, how to do that, you right click on here and there's a thing called solo mode. Just think of solo panel. That's so you have one panel at once. If you turn that off, what will happen is you have open up catalogs, open up folders. You can see as you scroll down you'll have a huge list. If you end up opening them all, you're going to have to scroll right through, and it can be a bit painful. So I recommend right clicking in that grey area there and putting in solo mode. The same goes over here from this side as well. If you right click in these ones, it's got solo mode as well, so it's advantageous to have that solo mode on. I just thought I'd introduce you to that. So after you've got solo mode, you can leave your navigation open. I don't know why that is, but you can have your navigation open in solo mode as well, which is good because navigation is very handy. I find it's keeps this little menu up here, which is good for resizing your images, and it's good to have a little preview to see what image you're on. Sometimes you can look up here and get an idea of cropping and composition as well. Okay, so down this side we'll just have a quick look in catalogs, collections and things, and this shows you all your photos in your whole library. So catalogs are all your photos. If you've got different catalogs, you can open them up through here. Folders is really where we're looking at the nuts and bolts of Lightroom. The Lightroom is a database, and you're actually adding images to the database from where they exist on the hard drive. So you can see here I've got images on my hard drive, on the Mac, on a drive called Elements. It's not plugged in now because it's got question marks. So that could be your USB drive. When you want to plug it in, it'll come up and you'll find it there. These are drives. That's another one that I had. So they don't all have to be online. So there's all the different drives that I've imported images from over the time I've had my catalogue going. And as you can see by my catalogue here, there's like 90,000 images in here, so it handles it quite well, fast as well. So open up folders. What I want to do here is go to these images here, so I know where they are, but just if I navigate through them, I'll use my my file structure here, so I know they're on this main buff drive. They're in again, this triangle sort of philosophy is how sort of Lightroom works. Remember, triangles, they collapse and uncollapse, so if you click on them, they'll expand. So photos here, and I know I put them in the year, and I know that they're down here in a folder called test, which was in a subfolder. So here it is here, so it's in Yamba Pool in test. So that's where I am. It says I've got 24 images here. This tells you how many images are there. If I want to see them all, I could scroll down like that and I can see them all. Okay, so that's just a bit about navigating through these structures here. Notice I can hover over them and it'll give you a preview up here of what's in that folder. I think it shows you the first image. Just gives you an idea. But it doesn't actually change. If I click on that, it will change. If I want to go back, I have to go back here. So that gives you an idea how to navigate through that. So here we are in the test folder. I would like these previews to be a bit larger. So I'll just expand them and make them quite large so I can get an idea of what ones I want to combine. So you notice up here, this is all your different modules. So you've got library module, develop module, maps, things like that. So this is Lightroom 4. 3's hasn't got map, I don't think, or books. But yeah, library module will show you all your images. It's mainly for sorting and getting things marked and categorized and things like that. Develop is where you do all your changes. And it won't, I didn't select a photo, so it's not showing you anything there. So just before, when we pulled up this little menu down here, and that's called the, if you go down here, that's the filter bar. Sorry, not the filter bar, the toolbar. So I've turned it off there. So it's not there, it's, you need to turn it on, it's T on the keyboard, or there it is there. So they're the two I have on those, just top one under the view menu. Okay, so the reason I have this here, because I want to know what order we're seeing things, because with HDR photography, you really want to know what sequence you took the images, and sometimes you can get stuck and some images look similar and you can't remember where you started and when you stopped. And it's a bit hard when you're out in the field to put your hand in front of the camera. If you automatically got it bracketed and you're doing 3 images, that means you'll have 3 pictures of your hand in between, or you have to switch it back and forth. So it's great to know how to sort of navigate this window here. So what we want to do is just show where we can find out time information. Time information is our friend because it'll tell you, you know, the 3 seconds or 5 seconds when you took that gap of images, and then you can grab those 3, preview them, and just see they're the ones that we're going to use for the final combine into Photomatix to make a HDR image. So that's why I explain this panel here, because this has got this ability here. See down here that we've got capture time. You've got added order. That's the order that they're added off the SD card. That's usually is the same as the capture time, but it may not be. Edited time, I'll never use that. Edit count, never use that. But it's mainly capture time. Ratings is handy for sometimes if you've got a folder, you're sorting out a selection of your best images and you want to put them in rating order. That can be quite handy. So we want capture time, and we want A to Z is ZA, so you can see it's reversing the order there. So it's not easy to see the capture time here. So what I'll do is just show you the way, one way of seeing it. You can see it on the white area here, but it's probably best to know the second way to see it is over here in the metadata. So over onto the right hand side, if it's not showing, you can just expand it there. So metadata. So you want to expand that. Now in here you'll have a time, capture time. There it is right there. So you can see this image here. Now just to explain to you, that's white means it's highlighted. You can click on multiple images, by holding down the control key or command, but then you or your capture time image data is wrong because you're trying to work out two capture times and they're not at the same time. So to get, to unselect, you hit control or command and it turns it off. So this image here has got a capture time of here, so that's the capture time at 46 seconds at 7:55. The next one along is 49. So I know these two are after each other. That's this one. Well, no, well that's 56 minutes, and that's so they're not in sequence. So I know these two are part of a sequence. So I know they're after each other. And the third one, I'm not sure where that is. Maybe I didn't bring a whole album in, but I knew these three looked familiar to me. They look like they're in sequence. Maybe that one is too, but let's just check. So this one here is taken at 7:56 and 17 seconds, and that's 20 seconds. So that seems right, and that's 22 seconds. The next one after that, no, 46. Too big a jump. So I've moved the tripod here. So I know these three images are taken in sequence. Now to prove that, I can highlight the three by hitting the first one and holding shift and getting all three grey like that. I can hit the space bar or I can double click and that brings it up. Now you'll notice down the bottom here where my mouse is, there's the thumbnail, what's called the Filmstrip view, and you can see the three of them here. So you can click on them down here to see them. You can see they're in register. The tripod hasn't moved there. Now I accidentally clicked off them, but I can remember where they were. Now this was the one. You can see the time is still changing over here. So that's the 22 second. That's 20. That's 17. This was the one that was taken at 46. And you can see in the big frame, definitely moved the tripod. Big difference there. Watch the time change. 46. Back to 22. So I know these three, and I can hold down shift and click on that one. I can have all those three there. Now I haven't got them in this mode here. I can go back to grid mode and see them there. They're still selected. The other way I can look at them is hit the space bar. That blows them up. Instead of clicking on here, I can use my arrow keys and go through them. Now notice it cycles through the three of them. It only goes through the three of them because they're the white ones that I got selected. If you look down here, it'll actually change the highlight where the white is. So this is your way you can select your three images. And then you can go back to your grid mode. Here's the three images again. Now I won't remember them. What can I do? How can I remember that? You've got a lot of options here. You can give them the same amount of stars. So there are three of them are selected. You can give them 2 stars. They've all got 2 stars. You can even give them a colour. You really just say red, for example. Now they're all seen there. You can see them with all the other images. If I click off here, you can see them that they're red. But if you really want to be sure, just to work on those 3 images, you can go up here to attributes. If you click on attributes, this brings up this little panel. They're not showing anything here. Now why is that? Because last time I was in here, I had yellow. If I click nothing, it'll show everything. It does show the red ones. So what do we want to do? We want to see the red ones only. There we go. We've got our 3 images. We can blow them up. We can do anything like that. If we wanted to use stars, I know I gave them 2 stars, and there they are there. So that's just sort of a good concept, a good theory to get into your workflow, is to understand the star ratings and how to navigate through and get your right images. Just remember, you've got all these ways to filter your selections by turning these off and on. This will show everything again, so you can see everything. You've got the thumbnail to change up and down. You've got the time sequence here to look at times. You can even click on it if you want to change them. Don't do that. And you've got your thumbnails down here. So it may be a bit difficult to start, but just experiment and see if you can start working those sequences, and don't be afraid to sort of check that metadata and the time.